But today we're going to talk more important things about on how we can work on and to become the best that we can be, because he's not just going to talk about how we can grow and how we can win this race on networking. He is also going to teach us on how we can develop ourselves. It's a self-improvement techniques and self-improvement training. The best person who's going to give us this session is no other than the person who also helped people to become millionaire. He has been on this industry for the longest time, have been on a different part of the world to train people, has been joined by 60,000 people on one group session. He is no other than our very own dream come true master trainer, Mr. Stavros Zenonos.
How are you doing, guys? Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for the introduction. How is everyone? I'm so excited. I just returned home from Dubai, and obviously we had an amazing event. I met so many of you there, and all I can say is that I'm impressed. I'm impressed with the leadership of this company. I'm impressed with you guys. I'm impressed with the passion you have. I'm impressed with the organization of the Leaders Retreat. I'm impressed with what's coming. So I'm telling you, my first impression was 5 out of 5, 5-star impression, 10 out of 10. And I know that what's coming is even bigger. So I have to say that the last few days I've worked on a plan on how we can increase your numbers, on what we can do to make sure you have even bigger numbers. I know the last 30 days, the numbers went up. I know the last 30 days, you hit a momentum, but I'm telling you, this is nothing close to what we can achieve. I have worked with companies that they made it to $1 billion in a year. And I can tell you, if we stick to the plan, if we do the right things, we will make it there. Some of you, you will be the top income earners of a giant. You see, when you want to do something big in life, first of all, you should be willing to be misunderstood, because not everybody is ready to build something big. The second thing, though, that you have to do is to stick to the plan. And sometimes the plan is not so easy. Sometimes it's not everything as you expect it to be. So we have to build generals, and you have to be ready to be prepared to attract greatness, to attract more, to do more in order to attract more. Today's call, it's going to be one of my favorite topics, which is closing. Everywhere I go in the world, if I ask them, what do you want me to teach you? Most of the people, the number one reaction is closing. Stavro, I want you to tell me about closing. I remember some of you in a previous call, you asked me for this. You said, hey, can you tell me a little bit more about closing? How do I close people? Can you teach my team on how do they close people? So here's what I'm going to tell you. We will start working on closing. It's not going to be one call. We will do approximately 4 calls in order to complete our closing coaching. Maybe we do a break between the third and the third call and talk a little bit about something else. But we need at least 4 calls. One of these calls, we're gonna work on money personality and on color personalities. So I'm gonna give you a test later on, not from the first call, that you will need to take. It's gonna be an online test. We will figure out what's your color, then we will figure out how you approach people from other colors. And I know some of you right now, you are wondering, what do you mean by colors? Colors is a test that will show you what kind of personality you are. I'm also going to teach you the money personality. So you see, in life, we have different ways to communicate. Let me give you an example. There is a book somewhere behind me with the title 5 Languages of Love. 5 Languages of Love. And that book is describing how each person express love to each other. How do we human beings, we share or express love to each other? And I will give you an example so you understand sometimes what you want to give to someone is not exactly what that somebody receives. You may want to share love or express love to your significant other, but because she has a different language of love, she doesn't get it. And there is where we have a lot of conflicts, a lot of frustration, and most importantly, a lot of misunderstanding communication. For example, if my wife, I'm just giving an example, if my wife, she grew up in an environment where her father and her mother were always expressing love, not by giving time to her, but by giving gifts. Let's say your parents are successful in business, they focus on career more than they do on family, which I'm not saying this is the right thing to do, by the way. And they feel guilty because they cannot provide time to you or to their kids. And because they feel guilty, they buy everything for you. You know, let's say you are 10 years old and they have you the best iPhone, the best PlayStation with a VR headset, and they always give you any gift you want. They always buy everything you want. And they are making gifts. They are giving you gifts day after day after day. Subconsciously, you know that your parents love you. And because you know that your parents love you, you believe that the way they are expressing the way they are telling you I love you is by giving you gifts. If this is the way you grew up, then in your mind, subconsciously, you believe that the person that really loves you should do exactly what your parents did and buy you gifts, giving you gifts every single day. So if I will get married with you, and this is what you have in your mind, but let's say I grew up in an environment that my father and my mother, they never bought me gifts. They not never, but they usually don't buy me gifts, but they spend time with me. I know that the language of love, the way they express love is by giving me time. You know that the way they express love is by giving you gifts. So you expect gifts. I'm not giving you gifts, I'm giving you time. It's going to be a point, it's going to be a time that you will believe I don't really love you because I don't buy you gifts. Or somebody else grew up in an environment that, you know, father and mother, they were telling him, we love you. And this is how they were expressing love to him or to her. So if I don't tell you I love you, but this is how you know love is, and this is what you expect, if I don't tell you this, even though if I buy you gifts, but I never tell you I love you, there's a different language. There is a language barrier there, and you are not receiving what I want to give you. Same thing with money, same thing with personalities. We are different personalities, and sometimes what you want to say is not what the other person understands. What we will
Înțelege.
do through these coaching calls, we
Ce vom
will
face
work
prin
on your
aceste sesiuni
personality so
de
you know
coaching?
where
Vom
you
lucra
go.
cu personalități.
We are not gonna
Queremos
go through
trabajar en eso, queremos entender
but we are
qué
gonna go through
forma de
four
Через 5 языков людей, но у нас есть 4 личности денег.
Gambler and warrior. Saver, spender, gambler, and warrior. We are going to go through those 4 personalities. And we are going to go also through the colors personalities, which is the red, green, yellow, blue. Red, green, yellow, blue. I'm not going to analyze these personalities on today's call. As I told you, we will need 4 calls. I'm going to start with the basics today, but call after call after call, I'm telling you, this is a school that once you finish it, you get a bachelor degree, a master degree, however you want to call it, in sales. Once I finish this coaching sales school that we're going to do together, you will be a totally different person in sales. I promise you about this. So let's start, and I have to ask you a question before we get into closing. How do you think, or when do you think is the best time to start closing the deal? When do you think is the best time to start closing the deal? Let me see. I want to see in the chat box. When do you think? I see one answer immediately after the presentation. I want to see some more answers. When do you think is the best time to start closing the deal? Let me see some more answers. Right after the presentation, right after the presentation. Okay, anybody else? Anybody else before the presentation? You're both right. So let me tell you this. You start closing the deal right after the presentation. You start preparing your prospect for a yes right before the presentation. You close the deal right after the presentation. You prepare your prospect for a yes right before the presentation. Listen up. What you do before the presentation is going to play a big role on how your prospect will react and respond after the presentation. Some rules about presenting, because I saw somebody here says on a one-on-one presentation. I know that you can do a one-on-one presentation, which means is you presenting to your prospect, is you presenting to Frankie, is you presenting to Dana, is you presenting to Manu, to Blanca. I know this. But you can also do a two-on-one presentation, which means is you plus the presenter who presents to your prospect. So it's you who invited your friend with a presenter showing to your prospect what it's all about. Then you also have what we call the big meetings, which is a screen behind you, and you present to 5, 10, 100, 5 people. And then we have what we call the Zoom presentations or the live presentations. So is you on a Zoom doing a presentation, or is you being live face-to-face with your prospect? Many people are asking me, what do I think is the best way to present? Many people are asking me, what do I think is the best way to present? It's like asking a general of an army, what's the best way to attack a country? Which one is the best way to attack a country? Is it by the land? Is it by the sea? Is it by the air? And the answer is, you use all your weapons. You attack a country. If you're the general of an army, you want to attack at the same time by the land, by the sea, and by the air. Because then you give no chances, no hope to your opponent. He doesn't know what to expect. So the answer to what's the best way to present, to me, is that the best way to present is to simply present. This is the answer. The best way to present is to present. The answer to the question, where is the best place to present? I say the best place to present is any place you can present. I did presentations, and I'm not over exaggerating. I did presentations in a cafeteria, in a hotel ballroom, in my office, in my car while I was driving, in a club's toilet, in a hotel's room, in a restaurant, in a kitchen, in a living room, in my bathroom, because I was ready to get in the shower, I did anywhere you can imagine, I did a presentation. Anyway, of course, every single time I was polite and I had common sense, but everywhere you can do a presentation, you have to do a presentation. Don't expect for things to be perfect to start. You should start to get perfect. So some of you guys, you are wondering, but what if I do this presentation right now and I'm driving in the car and it's not the right time? What if I talk to him right now and you can't say the wrong things to the right person. Or the opposite, you can't say the right things to the wrong person. So don't hesitate to present when you feel it's time to present. Communication is more about energy than language. Communication is more about energy than language. So going back to the presentation, what is more important to me is the setup. This is where your preparation starts, the setup. Let me give you a story. Many of you, all of you, I'm from Cyprus. So Cyprus is a small island. It's a little bit more than 500,000 population. Let's say today, with a lot of foreigners we have here in the island, we are a little bit more than 1 million, but less, about 500,000 Cypriots, 500,000 locals, Cypriots, a little bit more, let's say. So imagine that the team I created in my first company was more than 500,000 people. So my entire team was bigger than the population of my whole island, for sure bigger than my city, but I would say bigger than the island. And there are many people in Cyprus that they heard about my first company multiple times from multiple people. You have an advantage that I didn't have, which means if you call somebody today and you say, hey, have you ever heard about DCT? How many of them they will say yes? Come on, honestly, if you pick up your phone, you scroll on your contacts and you call someone and say, hey, have you ever heard about DCT? How many of you think they will say, all of your contacts, or more than 50% of your contacts, they will say, yes, I heard about it? The answer is, the majority of them, they have no idea what's DCT. The majority of your people, they never heard the name DCT. So that's a big advantage for you that I didn't have, because I'm from Cyprus, and the first year in my island, they enrolled more than 10% of the entire island, not just me. I mean, the first year in Cyprus, the whole team, they enrolled more than 50,000 people. Just the first year, that's 10% of the population of the island. Now, here's what I want you to understand. Not everybody you talk to is going to sign up, right? So if you are about to enroll 50,000 people, how many people do you think they heard about it? Maybe you showed it to 200,000 people to sign up 50,000, but also these 200,000 people, do you think they talked to their father, mother, best friend, cousin, auntie, whoever? Yes, they did. So I'm telling you, everyone I was calling to invite them to a presentation, they knew about the company before. So that made me to master that forced me to master my closing skills. Imagine you are in a situation right now that every time you pick up the phone to call someone and invite him to a presentation, they will tell you, oh, is it about DCT? I think I know about that company. So imagine if you will have to face this. You should develop a different kind of skill to be able to overcome that objection by the phone. Hey, I want to show you something. I want to tell you. And they immediately say, is it about DCT? You should be able to overcome that objection, bring them to the conversation, change their mind and sign them up. This is what I had to deal with back then. So I will tell you this. My strategy was to prepare them for a yes before the presentation. I know many of you right now, you are wondering how. The big question is, but Stavros, how is this possible? What did you do? So first thing I did was my attitude. The most important thing was my attitude. I was telling them, and I can tell you story after story after story. I was telling them, listen, I don't know what you heard. I don't know what you saw, but I can make a bet with you right now for as much as you want. If you will watch the presentation from me, you will say yes immediately. And people who are looking to me like I'm an alien, many people, they reacted by saying, but Stavros, I just told you, I know about this and I'm not interested. Why do you say I would say yes? And my reaction was always the same. I said, because you are a smart person, and I'm pretty sure once you realize it's a win-win, you have no reason to say no, don't you? So we will go through all these techniques right now, but you have to understand the most important thing was my attitude. People were telling me I'm not interested. I don't want to check it out. I don't want to watch it. And I was always telling them, trust me, once you check it out, you will say yes. You will beg me to sign up. So attitude is number one. The strategy though. Let me mute everybody. Okay. So the strategy is to prepare them for a yes. Now, how do I do this? We have what we call the setup. What's the setup? What do you do before the presentation? So let's say you invite a prospect, either online, offline, Zoom, live, one-on-one, two-on-one. What do? And the first thing you do is to tell them, before you start the presentation, you tell them why you do this. So you want to tell them why you do this. What's the reason you do this? Right, take some notes and then I will analyze each one. So why you do this, why you are into this. When I say why, you should not go through your whole why and the impact you will leave and the legacy you will leave at this world. Just say why you said yes. Then the second thing you do, why you invited them. And the third thing you do, what you expect from them. The fourth thing, you take pressure away. Let me do it very quick. If I will present to my friend Nicoletta, I will say, Nicoletta, thank you for coming to this presentation. Thank you for joining the Zoom call. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for being here. I have to tell you that I invited you to a business opportunity that I decided to start because, and I say why. Either it's because you had nothing to lose, either it's because I shared a little bit of this the last time on our previous call, but now I'm going to go deeper. I just want to make sure everybody who is here is aware about the setup, and then we will go to closing. So either because you started, just because you trusted your friend, either because you started because you realize you have nothing to lose, or because you didn't have to spend a fortune, or because whatever is the reason. You say, Nicoletta, I invited you to watch this. I have to tell you, I started because I had nothing to lose, because I trusted Maria, because I trusted Morales, because I trusted Alexandra, because my wife was too excited, because of this, because of that, whatever is the reason. Then why did you invite Nicoletta? Nicoletta, I invited you to this presentation because I know you need some more money, because I know you need some more freedom, because I know you are very smart, because I know you have a lot of friends, because I know you feel lonely right now and you need a community in your life, because I believe it's a great opportunity for you, whatever is the reason. So why I invited you and why I did it. Why I did it first, why I invited you second. Then what I expect. Nicoletta, after you will watch this opportunity, I believe you will say yes immediately. This is what I expect. I believe you will love it. I believe you'll be excited. I believe you will create a statue with my name in front of your house. I believe you will say, this is the biggest gift I did to you. I believe you are not going to be able to sleep tonight because of excitement. Say something big, showing that you expect a positive answer. That's showing your attitude. That's proving to them your faith. But then take it away. So you remove pressure. After you say, I believe tonight, after you see what you're about to say, I believe tonight you will be so excited that you are not going to be able to sleep. Then immediately say, but listen, it's going to be your decision, no pressure. Either you're yes or no. We are friends. To me, it's absolutely okay. Or you can even say, hey, Daniel, I believe after you will see what I'm about to show you, you will say yes immediately. But after we finish, let me know if I'm right or wrong on what I believe. Either way, it's okay. Either way, it's okay. So you take pressure away. You show them that, you know, either you do it or not, I'm doing it. This is what you want to show them. After you finish with that, you edify the presenter. You say, listen, we are going to have Miss Maribel, we're going to have Miss Maria, we're going to have Miss Angela. They will do the presentation. I'm telling you, if you cannot understand the presentation from Miss Maribel, if you cannot get it when Daniel is going to show it to you, if you cannot get it when Rodiga is going to show it to you, whoever is the presenter, if you cannot get it, I'm telling you right now, you will never going to get it. We are so lucky. We have one of the best presenters with us. The reason you do that is because you want them to pay attention to the presenter. Quick story. I'm not recommending you to do this, but this is what happened to me. There was a guy in Greece, my friend Marios, that we never missed one person with him. Never. I mean, I was always the presenter. He was bringing me people, and I never missed any single one prospect he brought me. He never did any presentation. I was presenting to him, but he was doing one thing very well. The edification was 10 out of 10. People were coming to me, and I could feel that they were so disciplined, and in their eyes, I could see it was like Donald Trump was talking to them, like Elon Musk was telling them an opportunity. I remember once I was waiting for him at the in a hotel in Athens, and they were about 10 minutes delay, and he usually never delays. So he was always on time. He was never late. So he came with a prospect and they were 10 minutes late. And I'm like, Marios, what happened? Why are you 10 minutes late? And he goes, Stavros, my friend Michael, he came here to meet you with shorts. And I told him, listen, I'm not taking you to see Mr. Stavros with shorts. You should go home, change clothes, and come back again. So I know I'm not recommending you to do this. I'm telling you, I did presentations everywhere under any circumstances, but Marius was so strict. And just the fact that he put him to drive back home 20 minutes, change clothes, 10 minutes, whatever, change clothes and come back, that fact he put in his mind that the person I'm about to introduce you is VIP, is a very important person. So you should listen to him. Some of you introduce the presenter and you say, hey, this is Billy, this is Stevie. It's like you have Bill Gates or Steve Jobs and you say Billy and Stevie. It doesn't make any difference, right? So who is Stevie? What is he going to talk to me? Why do I have to listen from Stevie? Do you think that's not part of closing? Trust me, every single small detail plays a big role in your closing numbers, in your closing ratio. So after you finish with edifying the presenter, you move on what we call minor agreements. Do you know what's minor agreements? Do you know what's minor agreements? Some of you maybe yes, some of you heard about this before. I guess some of you know, you have no idea. So minor agreements is during the presentation, you want to get the person who is watching to agree with you on something at least 3 to 4 times. For example, while the presenter shows your product, which is an investment, you say, so you did realize that you have nothing to lose, don't you? You did realize that this is an inexpensive way to start a business, don't you? And you are waiting for an answer. You did realize that I'm going to be next to you helping you, don't you? So when the presenter says something that you think it's a no-brainer, when the presenter says something that you understand the other person has no choice rather than agree, you say, you did realize that this is great, don't you? And you move your head and you're waiting for him to say yes. So you want to get 4 or 5 minor agreements. You don't want to get 25 minor agreements in a presentation because it's too much. Sometimes less is more in business, but you want to get at least 4 to 5 different minor agreements. For example, you are showing the ranks, and you say you did realize that this is a way to earn part-time income while you are also building your own business or you are working on your own job, don't you? And you are waiting for the answer. You always jump on when is the right time to just get the confirmation from him that he agrees. You don't try to get a minor agreement. You don't try to get a minor agreement when it's something that people may say yes or no. For example, you show to someone how to make 25,000 euros monthly. You never say, you do realize that it's easy to get 25,000 euros monthly, right? Because people may say no. You don't say, you do realize that everybody wins here, because people may say no. You just get a minor agreement when it's something simple that it's no brainer. You do this 4 or 5 times during the presentation. And then the real closing starts. When the presentation is done, it's over, the real closing starts. Before I get to the basic rules of closing, I want to share a few more things. First of all, I want to tell you a question I have. People are asking me, where do I learn closing from? I will give you some sources, and then I will tell you how I can give you access to these sources as well if you want to be a master closer. That's going to be the competition of the day. So I did study Grant Cardone a lot. I did study Jordan Belfort, if you know them. The Wolf of Wall Street, Sell Me This Pen. Jordan Belfort, he has the direct approach, which is not really my style. Grant Cardone, he has a medium approach, which again is not really my style. But I did study both of them a lot. I did study my mentor, Mark Caseda, a lot. I did study Hopkins a lot. And I have a hard disk full of audios about sales from Hopkins, an amazing old school coach and trainer about sales. But my number one source is this book. This is in Greek, this is in English. How to Win Friends and Influence People. How to Win Friends and Influence People is my number one source on closing. And if you open my book, you will see that I'm not reading books just to read books, but you will see in every page, I'm taking notes. In every page, I'm underlining things, I'm taking notes. And then after I finish a book, I put the most important notes I took from each chapter. The most important notes I put from each chapter, I write them down. And after I write them down, I practice what I learned. I don't know how many times I read that book. The first time was in Greek, then I started reading it in English, but I really don't know how many times I went through that book. I have no idea, and how many times I practiced consciously that book until I came into a position that I could practice it unconsciously. So how to influence and influence people is my #1 source of learning closing. Those of you that you will see me how I close right now, when you read the book or you will read the book, you will understand how much of an influence this book had on me, on everything I do. Now, if we go to my rules of closing, if we start working on the rules of closing, rule #1 is connect. I do real estate sales as well. I'm not a real estate agent, but I'm working in real estate because I'm a developer. I'm developing my own apartments and houses here in Cyprus. And those of you that you were here on the previous call, I told you when I face a lot of real estate agents, I try to see what do they do, if they are good enough to sell my apartment. The problem with real estate is that they don't train people in real estate. I do have some real estate agencies as customers that I train them. Last training event I had in Malta, we had 400 real estate agents that I trained them on sales. But not every real estate company is investing money to train their people. What do? They hire agents. If they are not good enough, if they don't do sales, they fire them. They don't train them. So the problem with this is when I see real estate agents, I try to see what they do, and they try to sell location, they try to sell construction quality, they try to sell price. But all of them, they do the same thing: location, construction, quality, price. What they don't do, though, is to connect. They don't connect. The first time I will have a prospect, and this is also a big benefit for network marketing instead of real estate. In network marketing, we train people. No one can fire you. No one can tell you you are not good in sales. So we train people. And the first thing I do is connecting, train people how to connect with their prospect. Let me ask you this question. How many of you, we just started touching closing, okay? We finished with preparation before presentation, and now we will start touching closing. So here is a very important question. How many of you, honestly, you feel you are weak on closing? You feel you are not good on closing? Let me see on the chat box. How many of you feel you are not good enough in sales? Write on the chat box. How many of you? Okay, Marcella. Let me see who else. Irina. Who else? Stefania, Diana, Elena, Sila, Alex. Okay. Here is what I can tell you. Closing is all about faith and knowledge. Faith and knowledge. Faith and knowledge. Faith in you. Faith in your product. Knowledge, skills. So today I'm going to give you the knowledge. If you have the faith, to convince me that you are not good at closing, you are the best closer I met. If you can convince me that you are not good at closing, I'm telling you, my friend, you are the best closer I met. because you can sell me your idea, you are not good at closing. Here's what you should understand. When you are selling a product, you are selling your opinion first and then the product. So if you can sell me your opinion, you are not good at closing, you can sell me any opinion, you can sell any product. You should believe in your product, you should believe in yourself, and then you sell your opinion. So you sell an opinion, not a product. And if people buy your opinion, they buy your product, they buy your services. How can I sell an opinion? If I want to sell an opinion, there is one thing I want to do, which is what? I want to touch their heart before I touch their mind. If you touch their mind, it means that you can touch the pocket as well, which is the money. If you touch the mind, you can touch the pocket, which is the money. If you touch the mind without touching the heart, this is what we call manipulation. If you manipulate somebody, you can only do it once. They will pay you once, they will never gonna pay you again. If you touch the heart, if you connect with them, that's how you touch the heart. Then you touch the mind and you can touch the pocket. And that they will have the willingness to do this again and again and again with you because they will trust you. So how do I touch the heart? I connect. When somebody, Mihai, Anna, Vlad, Veronica, when someone is going to be in front of me, whatever they say at the beginning, I want to connect. That's the first thing I want to do. So if Veronica is going to say after the presentation, Stavro, I don't have money. What do I do? How do I connect? I say, I understand. This is why I invited you. There is a technique to connect, which we say felt, feel, found. Or even better, feel, felt, found. Feel, felt, found. Write it down. Feel, felt, found. Which means I know how you feel because I felt the same way, but here is what I found. I know how you feel right now. I connect because I felt the same way. So here is what I found. Now, when I say connect, you should understand something. Maybe what they say is totally wrong. If I argue with them, how do I connect? This book, I just told you I learned closing from this book. There is a chapter on this book that says the only way to win an argument, the only way to win an argument is not having the argument. Because if I win the argument, I have to prove them wrong. Let's say we have an argument. If you win the argument, I will lose the sale, right? If I win the argument, I have to prove you wrong, which still I'm going to lose the sale. How many people do you know that they love it when you prove them wrong? How many people do you know that when you prove them wrong, they love it? Let me give you an example, and then you will understand the technique about connection. I'm doing a presentation, and here I have my friend Lucian. Lucian tells me, Stavro, I don't have time to build a network marketing company. Let's say this is what Lucian tells me. Stavro, I don't have time to build a network marketing company. If I know, Lucian is my friend, if I know that he doesn't work, he doesn't have any job, he doesn't have family, he doesn't have kids, and he's a gamer, and he plays a lot of games every single day. That means his objection is a bullshit. Don't you agree? I mean, he doesn't have time, he doesn't have a work, he doesn't have family, he doesn't have kids. How the hell he doesn't have time? Now here is something you need to understand. If I say to Lucian, brother, are you kidding me? I don't believe you. You are bullshitting me. You don't have kids. You don't work anywhere. You are a lazy ass. All day long, you play games on PlayStation. All day long, you are killing your time and you don't do anything creative. So cut the bullshit and stop saying lies to me. Even if what I'm saying is absolutely right, what are the chances Lucian is going to say, bro, you are right. You are absolutely right. I'm a lazy ass. So sorry for what I said. Here is my credit card. Here is my crypto wallet. Sign me in. What are the chances Lucian is going to do this? Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Please close your eyes. Close your eyes. So the chances that you see when you close your eyes, that's the chances Lucian is going to say yes. 0. Lucian is going to say no. The only way to win an argument is not having an argument. So if I argue with him, even if I'm right, I'm going to lose the game. You got to understand this. Let's say I'm trying to close Daniel. They say, Daniel, are you ready to sign up? Daniel goes, brother, I don't have the money. The time he says, I don't have the money, I know he's wearing a Rolex watch, which is 10,000 K, and he purchased an iPhone, which is 1,000 K. If I say, Daniel, you just spent 10,000 euros to buy a Rolex watch. That Rolex watch is very nice, but it's not going to change your life. You also spend 1,000 euros to buy an iPhone. And I know that until next week, you will spend another 500 euros minimum on restaurants. So don't tell me you don't have money. What are the chances Daniel is going to say, Stavro, you're right. I'm spending money on silly things. So here is my crypto wallet. Here's my credit card. Sign me in. There are no chances. This is going to be his response. So don't try to argue. Don't try to prove them wrong. Don't try to face them. Try to be next to them. Try to be their friend, their teammate. Try to agree. How? Somebody says, Stavro, I don't have time for this. I say, I know, I felt how you feel. Can I tell you what I found out? Stavro, I don't have money. I know, this is why I invited you. I felt exactly how you feel. Can I tell you what I found out? Stavro, I don't have friends. I know, this is why I invited you. Stavro, I have a lot of friends. I know, this is why I invited you. Stavro, I have a lot of time. I know, this is why I invited you. Stavro, but I'm already rich. I'm making millions every year. I know, this is why I invited you, my friend, because you are already rich and you are not going to have pressure. So whatever they say, this is exactly why I invited them. I never argue. Rule number 1, the most important rule. I connect, I don't disconnect. I don't want to be smart. I want to act smart. I don't want to be right. I want to do what's right. You don't want to be right. You want to do what's right on closing. So connect. Do not disconnect. Do not argue. Do not try to be smart. Do not try to show how good you are. That's going to push them away. Try to connect. Rule number 1, try to connect. Rule number 2. Lead with questions. Anthony Hopkins. He said, if I say it, I'm going to give you these audios. I'm going to give the audios to some of you as a gift, as a bonus, actually. But before I give you the audios, let me tell you something about Hopkins, one of the greatest sales coach in the world. He said, if I say it, they doubt it. If they say it, they buy it. 2 examples. Let's say I want my kids to go to sleep right now or 9 o'clock. I say to my sons, hey guys, it's time to go to sleep. Go to your bed right now. do you think, and those of you who are parents, you can understand me, do you think, are there any chances my sons will say, Dad, it's not time to go to sleep. We are not tired yet. We don't want to sleep. Do you think they may doubt it? If I say, guys, it's time to go to sleep, go to your beds now. Are there any chances the little kids, they will say, Dad, no, we are not tired. We don't want to sleep. Are there any chances? Absolutely, yes. They may doubt it. What if I ask them a question and I say, hey, guys, let me ask you this. When do you want to go to sleep? Do you want to go to sleep now or in 10 minutes? What do you think they will say? In 10 minutes. So I will say, okay, do whatever you want, go in 10 minutes. Now, this is not me telling them, it's them telling me. So that was an optional question. We will go through questions right now, but that was an optional, we call them optional questions. I'm giving two options to them. Do you want to go sleep now or in 10 minutes? Listen, of course, if I do this again and again and again to my kids, they will get it. And optional questions and that specific optional question is not going to work on them after 2 months of doing it every day. So I need to be creative and come up with something else. But I just want you to understand the example. If I say it, they doubt it. If they say it, they buy it. I go into a restaurant, you know, it's too hot. I need the air conditioner. I can go to the owner and say, hey, sir, it's too hot, your restaurant. I cannot afford it. Please open the air conditioner. He may doubt it. He may say, no, this is the temperature of the restaurant. Either you like it or not. If I say, hey, sir, that's a great restaurant. I love your food. I love your chef. I love the service. That's my favorite restaurant in the world. But today I feel a little bit hot. Do you think it's anything we can do for this? Then he immediately says, what if I switch on the air conditioner? Then I say, oh, that's a great idea. Thank you. Now, it's not me telling him what to do. It's him telling me his solution. So lead with questions. If you play that game with questions, let me tell you this. In closing, whoever answers first, lose. Whoever answers first, lose. So you never answer. You ask back with question until they answer. I will give you the 4 different type of questions. Take, please, some notes. We will analyze them later on. You have what we call tie-down questions. Simple questions, tie-down. Do you love investing? Do you want to make more money? That's a tie-down question. Do you want to join me? That's a tie-down question. Simple questions. We call them tie-down. I'm writing also here on the chat group, tie-down. Tie-down question. Then we have what we call inverted tie-down. Inverted tie-down is when I start the question in a negative way. So instead of saying, do you want to make more money? I would say, don't you want to make more money? And I'm waiting for the answer. Instead of saying, do you want to follow me? I will say, don't you want to follow me? Instead of saying, do you trust me, my friend? I will say, my friend, don't you trust me? So this is a way to empower your question. They call it inverted tie-down. That's from Hopkins again. Then the third way to ask a question is tie-down, take-on. This is one of my favorite ways. Not my favorite, fourth is my favorite, but this is something that I use a lot. Instead of saying, do you want to make more money? I say what I want, what I expect, and I finish with question. For example, I will say, I want to make more money. Do you? And I'm waiting for the answer. Instead of saying, I want you to follow me, I will say, if I was you, I would follow me. What about you? And I'm waiting for the answer. Instead of saying, I want to do this, I will say, if I was you, honestly, I will jump immediately. I will say yes immediately. What are you looking to do? So this is tie down, take on. Instead of saying, I would invest, I say, if I was you, I would invest. What about you? Or I'm thinking to invest. Do you? Or I'm thinking to do this all the way to the top. Do you? So that's a tie down, take on. And the fourth one is optional questions. Optional questions, my favorite. I'm always looking for an opportunity to attack with optional questions. Optional questions is when I'm giving them two options, and both options, it's a big win for me. So do you want to start with 1,000 euros or 5,000 euros? So do you want to make the investment, or you both want to make the investment and build the network? So that's a question that I'm expecting one answer, but both answers is a win for me. Optional question. You cannot do an optional question in every situation, but the more we practice closing, and after those 4 calls, you will be able to understand when you do an optional question. Now, let me go to the third rule, and then we will go back to questions. Questions is my favorite game. But let me go to the third rule, which is actually the #1 reason why people don't join you. What do you think is the #1 reason why people will never join your team? You never ask them to join. You never ask them to join. This is third rule. You do everything right. Take a note on this. This is so important. Yeah, never asked. You do everything right. You say, you connect. You do the tie-down questions. You do the optional questions. You lead with questions. They say yes after yes after yes. And then instead of you say, so, are you ready to get started? Instead of you saying that, you say, okay, go home, think about it. Or you say, okay, let's go out, smoke a cigarette. Or you say, so what happened to the game last night? Or how's your wife? Or what do you think? What do you think? I mean, it drives me crazy. What do you think? I mean, what do I think? I think the weather is great. I think Real Madrid will win the Champions League again. I think Dubai is a great destination. I can think about a million things right now. Why do you care about what do I think? I mean, guide me to sign up. What do I think? What kind of question is this? What do I think? So I think I'm hungry. Or I think I need to. I think I need to have a beer. So that question is the stupidest question to ask after a presentation. Are you ready to get started? Optional question. Do you want to get started with the investment, or you want to be a partner as well? Do you want to get started with the beginners or advanced package? That's an optional question to ask. Are you ready to play the game all in from day one, or you want me to explain you more? So optional questions that will get them in. Listen, I will go back to minor agreements. I connect, and here is how I close the deal. When the presentation is over, here is what I do. I say, from your body language, my friend, I realize that you are ready to get started, don't you? That's how I close the deal. I say, from your smile, from your eye contact during the presentation, from the way you answered my questions during the presentation, I feel that you are ready to get started, don't you? And then I'm waiting for the objections. But I don't create objections before they give me objections. I don't do that. So last rule is ask them to buy with a question, of course, but ask them to buy. Give them a question that they say yes or even no. It doesn't matter. Some people will reject you. good point. People are asking me, Stavro, tell me how I close everyone. I say to these people, when you figure it out, let me know too. There is no way you close everyone. When you figure it out, let me know too. I'm having fun and I'm closing the right ones. I remember once I was doing a presentation and somebody told me, hey, Stavro, I'm going to sign up if you put 50% of the investment from your pocket. I told him, brother, I have a better proposition. I'm proposing you that I'm putting all the money. This is my proposal. I'm not going to put 50%. I'm going to put all the money. Not only I'm going to put all the money, but I will find people to sign up in your team. I will get people under your team. I will sign them up. Not only I'm going to sign them up, I'm going to work with them, and then I will make you a millionaire. So the person looked at me and he said, are you kidding me? I said, yes, but you started first. Yes, I'm kidding you, but you started first by asking me to put 50% of your investment. No, of course not. I don't need you. Bye-bye. Arrivederci. Good luck. I don't need you. I'm asking them to sign up, but I have that attitude that I'm going to finish it with or without you. Listen, those are the 3 rules. In the next 3 calls, I'm going to show you how you follow the 3 rules. I'm sure, Michelle, you love this one. So I'm going to show you how you follow these 3 rules. I'm going to show you more how you lead with questions. We're going to have a role play. So in one of the next 3 calls, some of you will give me objections and I will handle them, okay? By following the 3 rules. And I'm going to teach you on the personalities as well. So we have what we are going to call our DCT School of Sales. Here's the most important thing you need to do starting from today. You should put this into action. You should start putting this into action. The 3 rules I gave you today with the setup before the presentation and everything I gave you, I want you to put it into action. And it's going to be a reward. I will reward the ones that they will put it into action. Can you repeat the last? So I get from Louis, my friend, can you repeat the last answer? I didn't understand the translator. I think he said it the wrong way. Okay, what was, you mean the last answer to my story, right, Louis? So let me repeat the story very quick, and then I want to tell you one more thing that I'm going to teach next week. So attitude is number 1. There is not a way that you close everyone. Not a way that you close everyone. But if you do the right things, your closing ratio will go up to the roof. Up to the roof. I had some people that they tried to show attitude on me. I'm always gentle. I'm always connecting. But if somebody wants to play the role of a badass, I'm going to put him into his place. I will give you 2 stories now. The first story that I already shared is when I had somebody who said, Stavro, I'm going to sign up if you put 50% of the investment, the initial investment. If you put 50%, I will sign up. I told him, my friend, I have a better idea. I don't need to put 50%. I will put all the money. I will sign up people under you. I will work with these people and I will make you millionaire and you don't have to do anything. So the guy was looking at me and he goes, are you kidding me? And I said, yes, of course I'm kidding you, but you started first. I'm not putting any dollar for you. You got to do it yourself. So that's attitude. I remember another time I was doing a presentation in Germany, in Stuttgart. I don't know if we have anyone from Stuttgart here. And somebody at the back of the room, he said, Stavro, my friend is really negative. And I'm like, okay. He says, my friend is negative. He doesn't believe anything. What do I do? And I went closer to him and I said, so is your friend negative? He goes, yes, he's negative. I looked at his friend and he was like, you know, the most negative look he could have. And I said, my friend, do you think, I'm asking his friend now, not the negative one, but the member, I'm asking him, do you think this opportunity is positive? And his friend goes, yeah, it's positive. And is your friend really negative? And his friend is still like, and then I'm asking him, why do you want a negative person in a positive opportunity? It's not going to work. Negative people should be with negative things. So don't expect negative people to follow positive opportunities. It will never work. Let the negative in their negativity. That's cool. That's okay. You don't want to close everyone. You want to close the right ones. Next week, my friends, we are going to teach you closing speeches. Some of you want to know exactly what you share after the presentation. So I'm going to teach you closing speeches, word by word, some of my favorite closing speeches. All of my closing speeches are optional. Let me give you 2 examples. One example I do is life better vs life worst. Someone is watching the presentation is over, he goes, I want to think about it. I say, perfect. I thought about it too. So that's amazing. It's amazing that you want to think about it because it means you are really interested to it. He goes, yes, yes. So some of you, when someone is going to say, I want to think about it, you start arguing. Why do you want to think about it? You have nothing to lose. You should say yes. The only way to win an argument is not having the argument. So he says, I want to think about it. I say, perfect. Can I ask you a question? He goes, yes. I said, let's say you say yes today and you fail and you don't do anything. Is this going to make your life worse from what it is today? How this can make your life worse? Let's say you say yes and you fail. Is this going to change your life and is going to make it worse? Is it going to take you to a bankruptcy? Is it going to take you out of your house? Is this going to make your life worse? He goes, no, I'm going to waste some money and some time. I said, yes. If you say yes today and it's going to work, is this going to make your life better? If you make more money, extra income, meeting new friends, is it going to make your life better? He goes, yes. I said, okay, so you have to take a decision. And based on your decision, your life is not going to be worse, but it could be better. What do you think is the right decision to take today? So that's a closing speech. I can do another closing speech. I will say somebody is thinking about it or he doesn't give me an answer. And then I step up. And when you do a closing speech, here's what you have to do. This is an important move. If this is the presentation, let me open it. If this is the presentation, right? Here's the presentation. And I want to do a closing speech. I do this. Okay, enough with the presentation. Can I ask you something? If this is the presentation I'm showing on my phone, I do this. Okay, enough with the presentation. Can I ask you something? If he's on a Zoom call, I'm getting him out of the Zoom call in a private conversation. I say, enough with the presentation, forget about it. Can I ask you something? The reason I'm doing this technique is to take him away from I'm selling him something mindset. I want to get rid of I'm selling you something. So I say, okay, enough of the presentation. Can I ask you this? And I say, listen, years ago, I learned about the formula of disaster and the formula of success. You know, formula of disaster is when I know I can do it, I need to do it, I really want to do it, I have nothing to lose by doing it, and I don't do it. There are many people, my friend, they follow the formula of disaster, right? You know, I want to do it. I want to make more money. I want to travel more. I want to have more fun. I need to do it. I need to make more money, actually. I need to have more fun. I need to meet more people. I need to change my life. So I need to do it. I can do it. I know it's not so difficult. He is doing it. She is doing it. So I can do it too. But I don't do it for whatever reason that no one can explain because I'm afraid, because of it's a challenge, and I don't do it. Listen, this is what we call the formula of disaster. Let me tell you the formula of success. Formula of success is I need to do it, I want to do it, I can do it, and I do it. This is the formula of success. After everything I showed you today, what are you thinking to do? Which formula do you think it will be more useful to you? Success or disaster? So that's another closing speech. I have 10 to 11 closing speeches. I will tell you next week. We will start with this. Let me give you another one. Some people, they say, oh, I know some of these deals. I have so many friends that they fail. So many friends, they tried and they failed. I say, yeah, amazing. I have so many friends that failed too. I have friends that they made it happen and they are making money. And I have friends that they failed too. You see, the world is full of winners and losers. Can I ask you this? Where do you think you belong? Are you a winner or a loser? So that's another optional question, closing speech. Because if they say I'm a loser, and most of them, they are not going to say this, I say, okay, don't do this, please, don't do it. But if they say I'm a winner, then I lead them and I close them. Another closing speech is when I say to people, listen, after the presentation, some people are looking for reasons why not to do it. Some others are looking for reasons to do it. Which one are you looking for? If very few people, they will say, I'm looking to find why not. Most of the people, they will say, I'm looking to find why yes. Once they say, I'm looking to find why yes, it's my opportunity to close them. So we will go through this next week. We have a lot to do on those closing sessions, on that closing school we started today. But here is what I need you to do right now. Start practicing the 3 rules, basics. 3 rules only, practicing the 3 rules. And here is what else I want you to do. By next Tuesday, Mr. Kevin, my brother, Mr. Kevin, who I believe he's here, is going to give us a scoreboard. Who is the one who closed most people? Every 2 to 3 days, from now until next Tuesday, Mr. Kevin will give to all the master distributors the current results. So let's say my brother Luis started today and he enrolled 3. Then Sorin will make 4. So every 2 to 3 days, Kevin will provide all the master distributors with the current results. And by next Tuesday, we will see who is the top one. The top one is going to have a one-on-one coaching with me, plus I'm going to give him all the audios I have from Hopkins. So I will give him a hard disk with tens of closing audios I have and I learned from Hopkins. Let me tell you, I was sleeping with these audios more often than I used to sleep with my wife a decade ago. Every night I had these audios in my ears. I was learning again and again and again and again. So I'm telling you, those audios turned me to a beast when it comes on closing. And I'm going to give them to the one who is going to win the competition, plus a one-on-one coaching. So I'm looking forward to see who's going to be the winner. We will announce results. Today is Tuesday. Latest by Friday, you will have the first results. Who is leading the way? So thank you, guys. Appreciate you to be on this call. Can't wait to see who's going to be the winner. And can't wait to see you next Tuesday on our number 2 session on closing. Have a great day.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mr. Stavros. Wow, that is a very amazing training sessions that we have done there. Like what, Mr. Stavros, you need to practice the 3 rules. What are those 3 rules? That is to connect, to lead with questions, and ask them to buy. Close it properly. You know what I have learned today, it's all about the right way to ask questions. If you ask the right question, it will lead you to a yes. Okay, guys, thank you so much. And I'll be seeing you in November, and I'll be seeing you again on the next Tuesday for our next mastery call. You have a good day.